RTD Live Talk, Detroit's #1 late night YouTube talk show. We are live, back for another live stream on this Thursday evening, the 27th day of the month of August, and we are fast approaching September, which is going to be a hot and steamy September due to Jerome Powell's insistent nature on trying to achieve more than their objective of price stability. Looks like they want to average inflation well beyond what they could not achieve according to their own measurements. So we're going to dive into that. A couple articles I want to share with you as well. Let's try something different tonight. And so running a little bit behind, as always, trying to put together everything on the back end by myself. It takes some time. But tonight I want to try to, beyond just the call-in feature, want to also welcome and extend the invitation to those that might want to ask a question or share a quick thought via video directly. And so I'm going to just try to do something a little bit different, as I mentioned. And so basically, if anybody has any interest to join me to share their thoughts via, directly face-to-face, shoot me a text at the normal call-in number. I'll send you a link to join me via video, and it'll be as simply, less than 2 minutes. Share your thoughts, share your comments, and we can chat face-to-face. So I want to expand the opportunity for the community. So for those that are new to the channel or just want to give a shout out real quick where you're at, where you're watching from, let me know in the chat and I'll acknowledge your presence. And then we'll dive into tonight's live stream and be short, concise, and straight to the point, educate, encourage, and better prepare one another as we enter into a new decade of a more expensive way of life, as well as overall downgrade. So what this current new approach in monetary policy, what it actually means is this upcoming decade that we're in now will ultimately lead to a downgrade towards the lifestyle through the cost of living increasing for a good portion of Americans here as we shift into this new paradigm that they have us heading into. So we're going to dive into that and a lot more. I want to hear your thoughts on it. So what else we got here? It says Solo says, Mike, your start time show is about as consistent as LB's. Okay. Yeah, so I gave you the reason as to why that is, but we'll see. Lamar says, Mike, what's up? We got King D, we got O'Dane for real, we got Johnny Deep, we got Philman, Florida Princess, Johnny Low Blood Pressure, Tony B, S400, Professor Curtis, S400. I got the emails, I clicked on them, got pulled away, so I didn't dive into it. But yet, if you want to tonight's your opportunity to call in and you can elaborate more on those for us, and definitely we'll get that covered. Huddle USMC, Nathaniel. Okay, so how's everybody doing tonight? As always, as I mentioned, got a couple articles I want to share with you. If you want to call in, call in. If you want to do a video chat with me via one-on-one, do that and shoot me a text. I'll reply back with the information you need to get you connected, and we can talk face-to-face. So that'll be available in a second. All right. Dakota says, learn how to hunt and fish, guys. Can't stress it enough. Yeah. And so, yeah, definitely, hunting and fishing will come in extreme, come in handy in the days ahead as an alternative source to, gathering your own food or whatnot. Here in Michigan, not too far from the water. So fish, I don't really want to eat the fish out of the Detroit River, but worst case scenario, that's all we had. That's what we're going to eat. But okay, we'll touch on that. So enough of me ranting. Let me get right into my primary subject matters for this evening. Inflation. And so as you guys can tell from tonight's subject matter, I want to talk about this subject here, Jerome Powell. And so if you didn't get a chance to watch his little spiel today, a little virtual conference in Jackson Hole, a lot of the same thing, but yet a new approach. And so that new approach happens to be because of their lack of their inability to fight deflation ultimately. So the monetary policy is meant to expand through credit extension by people and nations and corporations and governments continue to take on debt. If there's any hiccup with that, then there's a problem. And so right now, as the economy is crumbling, not many people, mainstream economy-wise, are not really borrowing much. So therefore, they have some issues. And so the great fight for inflation is on. And basically, because of their measurement, and so I'm going to share an article here with you, which they don't include anything worthy of really calculating to get a better measurement of inflation. So it's all hocus pocus, bogusness. but yet it's a part of the destruction of the Federal Reserve note and what they're doing. So that reassures and reconfirms that life will get tougher in the days ahead, just because it's going to really force more people to have to choose, whether it be your typical items of luxury and comfort, or your bare necessities and the bare minimum, just to preserve and protect yourself a lot longer. So, all right, so article here says Powell announces new approach to inflation that could keep rates lower for longer. Vince Grant, appreciate you, my friend, for a love offering there. Feel free, as I mentioned, for those that are just tuning in, going to be two options. We can do a video, give you 2 minutes to share your thoughts or insights. And so just shoot me a text. I'll get you that information. Or you can shoot me a call to share your thoughts via phone line, either one. So 2 options for you guys. But just title alone, rates will be longer for a lot longer. Rates will be lower for a lot longer, ultimately confirming outright theft. So what that means in a nutshell is that think about the current paradigm that we've been taught to set aside funds for a rainy day so that they can grow, whether it be in the bank, which is no longer existent. So today he confirmed that for the next, I think I heard 4 to 5 years, they're going to attempt to get caught up on what they could not do in the past 10 years. So ultimately, it reconfirms that they're going to shoot well beyond the 2%. So right now, we're already at real negative interest rates when you look at the amount of interest you don't earn on your savings, as well as the current inflation rate that they can't seem to achieve. So we're already negative 2% basically. So you're guaranteed to lose 2. But what this confirms is that you're going to lose maybe 4-5%. So the typical 2% inflation will become 4 to 5 with no problem at a minimum. And so that only accelerates the lack of purchasing power you have. So a lot more people will be forced to spend ultimately, because you're going to have 2 options. You keep it parked in cash form and digital form in their institution, or you extract some of that, a good majority of your savings or whatnot in the Federal Reserve note terms, and you put it in metals, or if you're more on the speculative side of things into the future, you can do the crypto sector. So it's going to force, these policies are going to force people to choose faster, because what you're going to be choosing from is whether or not you're going to spend it on your immediate consumption, or if you're going to put it in something else that can preserve purchasing power a little longer. And so lower rates for a longer period of times reconfirms almost double the amount of theft that they're committing for those that save large amounts of currency. And so for those interested, great article here. I'm going to go to a different one here. So this is the one from Mish Talk that I thought was entertaining. And so Mish does a great job of shooting it straight, and some of the analogies they gave in here. And so these 3 paragraphs here kind of sums up what was discussed today. Thumb through it briefly, but they're going to average inflation. They seek to achieve inflation that averages 2% over time, which means in order to average that, you got to shoot well beyond that. So they're looking to make up for 10 years worth of less than 2%, which means that they're going to have to probably shoot for 5 to 6% to try to get caught up within that 5 years period, which is going to be disastrous. And then on the employment side, they're no longer going to shoot for a minimum number. Like, I guess Jerome Powell talking today about, before this happened in February, we had unemployment at about 3%, give or take, under 4% is all-time high, So now they're no longer going to use that measurement of how low can it go. They're going to use as it says here, deviations from its maximum level. And so once again, those are a play on words as to how they're going to try to concoct a way of saying that employment is not where they want it to be, as opposed to just saying that it should be measured based upon the fact that if everybody's working, you're doing a good job. If no one's working, or 50 million plus is not working, you're not doing a good job. So those 2 mandates, maximum employment and maximum price stability, was thrown out the window today. So kiss it goodbye, and welcome to the new decade of monetary policy that starts real soon. And so, interesting article here, but I'll finish off with just some comical analogies that were given as to how crazy it is that how they're going to shoot for an overall average in the long term. And so here's a quote here, or a tweet. It says, it's example, what they're trying to do, the example would be, if you overcooked your turkey for the last 2 years and you don't cook it this year to make up for it. In response to this guy here, says, Instead of roasting my Thanksgiving turkey at 325 Fahrenheit for 5 hours, I'm going to roast it at 650 Fahrenheit for 2.5 hours. That way I don't have to get up early to get dinner ready. So basically, instead of prolonging that time, you just ramp up the amount of heat, which if you use that in an inflation factor, and so say if the 325 degrees Fahrenheit was that 2% target, what they're basically saying is we're going to have to crank this thing up to 6.5% inflation in order to achieve our goal within a shorter period of time, which is basically saying that there's no way they can calculate and precisely determine a number that you're being stolen from. So it's going to be arbitrary in nature, but yet people will feel it in their pockets a lot sooner, a lot faster, because it will be an ultimate pinch. And so a couple more articles I want to share with you, but I don't want to do any more ranting right now. I want to just open up the phone lines. Let's talk a little bit. I got more things to touch on as in regards to today's, as well as other things. Also, Hurricane Laura went through Louisiana and just wreaked havoc. Had a chance to see a lot of videos and whatnot, and it's a complete disaster there. And so I want to find out if any of the community members happen to be in those neck of the woods. Give us some perspective of what's going on there. And we can go from there. So phone lines are open as always. Like I said, shoot me. I'm about to shoot somebody. So I'm about to shoot somebody right now. So yeah, I'm gonna shoot you. Shoot me a text, and then you get yourself about 2 minutes or whatever to come online via air. Use your phone or whatever, and we can chit chat a little bit. So let's get to the calls. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike. It's Pete in Colorado.
Pete from Colorado. Good to hear from you, my friend. What are your thoughts on this Jerome Powell inflation and more theft at a higher rate faster coming?
I think it's hilarious.
Elaborate for me, please.
I love to have a different perspective, but why have you been advocating like gold so long?
Why have I?
Yeah.
Because it's a countermeasure and it's a hedge in regards to preserving your own energy, effort, labor, and everything outside of this debt-based monetary system. It benefits ultimately from the destruction of privatized, nationalized currencies. In a nutshell.
So did anything really? But for inflation, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So did anything change today?
No, it didn't, but yes, it did. And so it did not change their long-term objective of continuing to further inflate, i.e. steel, but based upon their inability to do it at their own, according to their own calculations, they're looking to double up the game. They're looking to ramp it up faster. And so that right there, is a little bit, that's different. they gotta do more of what they've been doing for 107 years now.
No, actually, what really happened today,
okay,
is he stole from you
mm-hmm.
your ability to say that you were right later.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Give me more.
They know inflation's coming.
Yeah.
You know inflation's coming.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what?
What's that?
When inflation goes over 2%, Jerome Powell and all those guys in mainstream media, they're going to be like, see, it was our idea. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
And that will just steal your thunder at the time. This has been going on forever. This is how they play the game.
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
Own the narrative.
Yeah, just the idea of inflation and how that definition has come into our vocabulary as a good thing for the economy, that it helps as far as prices increasing over time helps drive the economy forward. Like just that idea there, don't understand it, but sure.
Yeah, to be a sarcastic smartass now, but it's a good thing, and they're going to be our heroes and get us more.
Yeah.
And when it comes, because it obviously will, and everybody knows it, they can be like, see, we did this for you. It's great.
Mm-hmm. Our economy's back. Or no, it's not back just yet. We need more.
We need more. We just need more of it.
Mm-hmm. So,
no, but nothing changed. They're in a box.
And they're in trouble, but yet the American people, as well as other central banks that will follow suit, are in definite trouble unless they have not already been, bracing for this type of news, and it's going to force more people to choose faster. As I mentioned earlier, do you spend it right away, or do you get out of the currency as it is and just get back into it when you need to for your everyday expenditures and cost of living and whatnot like that?
Well, absolutely. But as you know all too well, like this is just a fun cat and mouse game.
Yeah.
But, and I joke around a lot, but the downside of all this is that I don't know how long they could drag this out for, but, we're on the path to destruction. You know, it'll end in collapse.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Pete from Colorado, good to hear from you, my friend, as always. I'm glad you didn't throw me a curveball tonight.
I like to do that.
I know that. That's why I brace when I hear Pete from Colorado. But it's good, though. I enjoy it. Keep me sharpening on my toes, my man. Appreciate you calling tonight.
Keep doing what you're doing.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Yes, sir. Good to hear from you. As always, for those tuning in, give me a call or shoot me a text at the number beneath this in the red right here, and I'll shoot you a link back. You can join me for less than 2 minutes for a question or a thought. Want to just try something different. Debt and regret. I appreciate the love offered to the channel there. It says, hey, Mike, at what point will you sell or trade your gold and silver? When will you know when precious metals have become a bubble? Great question there. So when? Oh, man, I can give you an idea as to what environment might be the most ideal, but yet it's one of the things where, because I am very unsure as to the environment we'll be in if that time and if that comes to fruition. So long story short, I don't know what time or when. I would like to say that the best time to look to disperse. I'm not going to say sell, or because I can imagine by that time there's going to be some other options beyond just selling, because I believe the capital gains tax or whatever tax they put on top of it will be so high that you may not be able to sell it outright. But dispersing it, whether it's barter, trading, or whatever, is the moment that the nominal price of an ounce of silver is enough to buy something substantial that will be a income producing opportunity for me in the future. And so that could be, depending on how many ounces, it could be $100 an ounce, or it could be $1,000 an ounce. It all depends on what opportunities present themselves to me that I'm aware of and able to take advantage of. Will I then look to disperse some? But as far as it being in a bubble, my personal opinion is that it will not be in a bubble within this next decade because of the amount of inflation we're going to see. We're going to see hyperinflation to where there'll be no ceiling to how high of a number an ounce of gold or silver can actually be calculated in, because of the infinite amount of currency that's in existence. So it's going to be that next currency that will be issued that will help determine some type of stability for a price of an ounce. But then again, you have to give it time, because the government, especially U.S. government, because we will not have a reserve currency at that point with that next currency. So there's going to be some devaluations with that. So there's going to be some haircuts being taken for the first couple cycles of that new currency, just as a result of all the debt, the historical debt that we're going to have to pay off through devaluing our currency, which is what typically happens. And so all the notes must be accounted for. Therefore, it's going to be some time. So dispersing according to when I see opportunities, according to what can be helpful for me and my family, for beyond my lifespan, hopefully. If that helps. That was kind of a long, drawn out should be a shebang, but anyway, you got the idea. Anyway, so for those, give me a call, man. Let's talk. What's on your mind tonight? Let's talk about whatever. Feel free to chime in. And so I just want to talk more about inflation, how the Federal Reserve is basically doubling up, and by them doubling up, that confirms that this decade is going to be a very harsh one, and it's already harsh for a lot of people. But yet they're confirming that they want to do it more. They're basically confirming that they want to steal from you more, because they have basically made it advantageous or lack thereof to save in the conventional form, the way that we were taught growing up. Everybody was taught to put some funds aside. The whole idea of compound and interest through the banking sector is no more. So, idea of teaching our kids the way we were taught. Start up a bank account, put some funds there, and you'll watch it grow in time. No, you will watch it be stolen in time. as far as what you can actually accomplish when you look to withdraw. And then from last week's, I think it was early this week or last week, I talked about those steps that they're going to take to make sure whatever currency is in there will eventually be utilized to recapitalize the next banking system. So really, really dangerous times. But yet, you all knew this was coming. Nothing new at all. Get your weight up. And so highlight at Rethinking a Dollar if you want to ask a question in the chat. Really, Americans need a debt jubilee. A debt jubilee will be great, will be awesome. It is more than possible, because the only problem with that, a debt jubilee, is that every liability that exists on the bank's balance sheets is already become someone's asset. So a lot of all the instruments, the financial instruments, a good majority of the financial instruments that have been sold to the populace in the form of financial vehicles to save and invest for your retirement are also an asset to you because it's owed to you, but it's a liability because it's in the balance sheets, it's in bonds, it's in stocks of companies that are already going belly up. So that jubilee gonna wipe away everything. So it's gonna be pain whether it's inflated away or whether it's forgiven, because two parties gonna have to be willing to take a loss if there's a jubilee, which, you know, we're gonna have a default ultimately. You know, it's gonna be a default, whether it's inflation or a outright forgiveness of debt. Mike says you put your dollar game down like a Oakland pimp. Okay. And Natural Rama says, only thing I wanted to say is Mike's channel goes down. How we all stay connected? If it goes down, that means I would assume that the internet might be some hiccups, or YouTube might take it down. But yet, if you Google Rethinking a Dollar, I have maybe 4 or 5 other channels on different platforms, and so I managed to post there as well. So, you know, I would encourage you guys to connect with me there already. And also, the primary source is just rethinkingthedollar.com. So eventually I'm going to start streaming directly through that website. But yet, once again, that's something that I got to get done myself. So low blood pressure says, trying to get through. Phone line did not go off. Let me see what I got here. No missed calls on my end, but the phone lines are open. Shoot me a call or shoot me a text, and I'll get you a link to connect with me via video for those who want to show their face this evening. John Carl says, are you ever looking at uranium? John, I have not personally. That's another sector that is of importance. And so it's one of them things where it's on the periodic table, and that's where real natural wealth comes from, the ground. And so, yes, there's opportunities there. But me personally, I have not dived into it just because it's not necessarily outside my scope of focus at this point. But it'll be one of them things where in order to actually own uranium, you're going to have to actually then have some mediaries in between you and that investment, which will be the mining side of things, or any of the parties involved with sourcing and supplying and storing and everything like that, your uranium. So to my knowledge, I don't think you can just keep uranium in your back pocket, you know, and you walk around with it. But I could be wrong. They may have done something with it. I don't know. It says we all need to find a radio and catch him on shortwave. Definitely need a channel. So I have my little Bofang right there. And so we need to connect on that thing. Okay. So let me see here. Let me see. I got a text. Let me see. I'm sending a text to somebody. Let me see. All right. So attempting to send something out via text. So let me know if you get it. And then click the link. Join me. You got about 2 minutes to share your thoughts and whatnot and get in, get out. RSC, the trumpet is blowing. Ezekiel chapter 33. Okay, so I see some people talking about the RSC tonight. I have not really much of it, because once again, when Trump speaks, he said the same thing over and over again, and he doesn't really go into depth about how he's what his official game plan is. He just talks about how bad things are and how good things have been under him, which really at this current moment is irrelevant because it's not it's not that good overall. Hello, caller. What's the name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from California. I just want some information about Bitcoin versus Bitcoin versus silver. What he thinks.
Okay, so you want to talk about Bitcoin and what you said, what to do next?
well, I mean, in terms of like we're going to another system, and I get it.
Right.
But what's the hedge that we can do in between the central bank, rolling it out? Do we do metal? Do we do gold and silver? Do we do Bitcoin?
Okay, so once again, not financial advice. My personal opinion is you stick to what's been historically, you make your base. My personal opinion, make your base what has been historically proven to be true money, historical generational wealth that, just a couple of days ago, they found 100 shekels or something in Israel. I think it was 100 coins from 1,000 years ago. So in
a jar.
Exactly. Yeah. So that right there is an idea of historical confirmation that wealth was not lost; it was gained by having buried it in the ground. So that right there to me is an anchor. That's just what it is. And then everything you do on top of that is based upon your level of risk tolerance and the risk reward factor. As far as the cryptocurrency side of things, it's the future. Digital is going to be the future. And so you got to know what you're doing. You got to, have confidence and education in certain things in order to buy and hold and ride the dips if you want to be a part of that sector. But I just keep it simple. Get your weight up, and then anything on top of that is speculative because there's nothing guaranteed. So, that's when you get into trading and gambling. So that's just my 2 cents there.
No, but you have confidence, though, that I know is from wisdom. And, I've been watching you for, about a couple of weeks now, and it's like, I just don't have a lot of people that I trust. And I know you have faith in the Lord, right?
Yes, I do, sir.
So you're not coming from a place of lack of knowledge. You understand that this is a kingdom dynamic that God wants us to prosper. He wants us to be smart about it.
Very true.
So anyway, I appreciate you, and I appreciate what you're doing. I'm still not sure what a transition between what we are right now with the fiat coin going into a digital currency would look like. Do you have any ideas about how that's going to roll from the central banks? Are they going to just say you turn all your money in and we're going to give you X?
Yeah. And so I highlighted that in greater depth a couple of videos ago about the banking nightmare. But my personal opinion is that right now is the transition phase right now. So they're laying the seeds with all the talk of, this coin here, digital dollars. Federal Reserve is studying it. They have a couple projects in mind. They already got the framework as to what they want to do. But I believe it's going to be a matter of buying more time, letting the Congress come to agreement on how they're going to allocate it, whether it be directly through the Fed or through the Treasury side of things, how they're going to do it, and what's going to be the catalyst, which will probably be UBI. And so the UBI will probably come through a digital transfer on your app, and it'll circulate along with paper and coins until there's another hiccup to where the banks close and you're not able to get as much currency out. And then they're going to say it's best that you just, convert your paper over to the digital whatever, whether it be through your bank or through the digital dollar from one of those Fed type of things. So it's going to be incremental. I don't think it's going to be all at just once. They can't throw it at once because majority of the population has no clue about how to engage their phone at a higher level other than a text message. So they got to make it simple for grandma and granddad, which means it's going to take time, barring some type of event that disrupt that overall plan. But I think it'll be
all right. So would they grandfather your digital currency into their system, or would it be exclusively standalone?
Yeah,
do you think?
I think personally, all the currencies, cryptocurrencies labeled decentralized, that originated from some community or some team or some developer that's not a part of the monetary system, is right now was a part of the setup to groom us for the idea of going digital. And so it got a lot of people excited about profiting off of the destruction of the currency through Bitcoin. Everybody think they're gonna be a Bitcoin millionaire. Okay, until the competition thing kicks in, and where the government comes out with their new legal currency, and then you also have the alternative stuff. There's gonna be a digital war of digital, decentralized versus centralized. And if the government has authoritative power and with guns and military and taxation and all the stuff that they have now, it's going to be very difficult for people to reap the rewards in this system based upon that other stuff that made them rich. So I think it's going to be a hard transition, but it might work for a while. So, yeah, that was a lot right there. But hey, man, I appreciate you.
Man, you're on it, man. You're on it. I appreciate you a lot.
I appreciate your call, my friend. Thank you. Yes, sir. Good call there. Great questions there. And once again, just one man's opinion. And so it looks like I'm trying to get out this text. And so I'm sending out, saying, let me see here. So how's it working? Okay, so I'm sending out an email. Let me try to send out, let me try it a different way, because other than just, let me see this. I'll try to send it a different way. And so if it's not going through, then not sure what's going on my end, but everything should be functioning. So I'm sending links out. Let me know if it works. And definitely would love to have that option. But it was something that was thrown out last minute, so I got to iron it a little bit. Low blood pressure says, I hate cryptocurrency bit scam. I'm not getting your text back. All right, so I put it out there. And so what I'll do, let me do this. I'll try something. I'll put it right here. I'll put the invitation. So right there in the chat, I just put an invitation out there. So feel free, if anybody want to chime in for a minimum of 2 minutes, click that link. I'll get you on here. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. How you doing, my friend? What's in your mind tonight?
Well, I just wanted to say a few things about, people had a question about when to sell gold.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've done for myself, this might be helpful for other people, is that I have got one pile of gold that it's all physical. This is what I drag along with me. It's my anchor.
Mm-hmm.
I never want to have to sell it unless it's the last resort. I want to be able to pass it on to my kids. But what I've then done once I built that is I built another pile of gold, and most of that is made up of physical bullion-backed ETFs. That's what I use for price speculation, because I believe the price and the purchasing power is going to go up over time.
Yeah.
So, in a brokerage account, I can turn around with a few keystrokes whenever I want and sell that, and then buy other assets that I want, whether it's cryptocurrency, stocks, take it out, buy real estate, land, things like that. So something to keep in mind, for people that are investing in metals, is they can always say, well, half of what I've got is going to stay with me. It's my anchor in, tumultuous, economic chaos, and the other half, or some portion thereof, is what they can keep for speculation. So
no doubt. And so that
might be helpful.
Yeah,
So,
very, very helpful. Go ahead.
I just want to say thank you, Mike. I've been listening to you for a long time, and I just want to thank you so much for everything you've been doing. So
I appreciate your support and your help, my friend, and great advice there. And that right there that you're referring to, that's a specialized skill that investors have to do that type of thing, which majority of the people do not have. So that's why I keep it simple, say get physical. And if you have a skill set such as that to take advantage of that, that is a blessing right there, my friend. So thank you.
Thanks.
All right, be good. All right, so it looks like we do got somebody here. So let's get him on air. The man of the hour, Mr.
There I am.
So yeah, how you doing, Mr. Low Blood Pressure?
I'm doing good, Mike. How's it going? I got my favorite shirt on.
Let me see what shirt.
Look, it. I don't know if you can see it. Randy Watson. You see him?
Sexy chocolate.
Jackson Heights. Can you see him?
Yes, man. I see it. Right. Oh my goodness, this dude got a sexy chocolate shirt on.
Yeah, Randy Watson.
Give me the rundown. I want to make these like a little 2 minutes introduction. Give everybody a chance to check in via video, man. What's in your mind tonight?
Okay, my name is Low Blood Pressure, and I have 5 maxed out credit cards.
And so, have you gone to AA for your addiction, man?
Nah, not really. The only thing I buy is silver and gold, so I don't think I have a problem. But what about you? When are you gonna max out your credit cards?
We got some time, man. We got some time. Like I would imagine,
Mike.
Just because I apart from using debt or credit wisely, to flip and make turn a profit off of it. I'm not one to just max out just yet. I attempted that a while ago on the cryptocurrency side of things, and it didn't work out so well. So I was stuck with a pretty large bill. That I had to pay off, which I'm like, I'll wait until I feel the time is right, and then I'll max the mess out of them, and then deal with the consequences later. So I'm not completely opposed to it. I just don't tell people to go do it because I don't give financial advice.
The time to do it was when I was at 14. Now I don't know.
Good point, but once again, based upon what's coming this decade, 27 right now, depending on how much it costs over spot, it's still cheap. It's still pennies in a bucket compared to how expensive it will become. But also, you got somebody got a little shout out to you real quick. Debt and Regret says low blood pressure, maxing out credit cards to get the real money.
Oh, you see that guy hanging himself? That they're gonna be looking for me.
Oh man, so yeah, low blood pressure, man. I appreciate you checking in with me via video, man. So
okay.
Good to see you.
I didn't get your text back, but I clicked on the link on the on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, and so for whatever reason, I sent it through a couple times. I got to check that out, but I'll just try something different, man. I want to give people a chance to check in beyond the phone lines because surprisingly enough, we got about 180 people watching. A lot of people are afraid to go face to face. You know what I'm saying? They'd rather remain a voice in the background, and so I want to speak to those people who want to do some face to face activity, man. So I'm gonna put the link here again. So if anybody want to join in real quick, just click that link and we'll get you on. So,
hey, tell Barlight Broker, I want to see his gold chains.
Oh yeah, okay, Barlight Broker, you just got called out, man. We gotta see that weight around your neck. Hit the video link, my friend.
All right, Mike.
No pressure. Appreciate you, man.
All right, have a good night.
Yep, you too. Yeah, man, good stuff. Good to see the people, man. And it's another spin on things, man. So I want to also hear from you guys, but yet once again, RTD Live Talk is designed to be a voice for the people. That was the whole idea of me doing this, and I want to hear from everybody. And so now I want to hear or see either one. Let me know. We'll be a couple more minutes. We're gonna dial back. All right, so I got a couple more articles I want to touch on. I don't want to just cut it short. Let me find these articles here. All right, so here's something that is one of them topics that people, I'm assuming, are concerned with. Democrats in White House are set to a tragic impasse on coronavirus stimulus after Pelosi Meadows' call. And so once again, they're not budging. Pelosi says she's not budging. And therefore, a lot of people will be suffering still, even though this won't solve the equation, but we'll see. Hello, caller. Where are you calling from?
Hey, Mike, this is Sean from Albany.
Sean from Albany. What's on your mind tonight, my friend? What are your thoughts about the subject matter we covered?
Okay, so last summer, Jim Sinclair went on Greg Hunter's show, and he said that there's going to be a false flag, and then basically they're going to do some type of EMP. So, I'm the guy that said he watches a lot of YouTube.
Yeah.
So there's this channel called Theology Ed.
Theology
and
Ed.
He goes in and he breaks down movies. So everything that is happening right now, including 9/11, when that happened in 2001, it's all in Back to the Future's movie. It's all in Back to the Future.
Really? Okay. I'm trying to. I gotta go back.
Basically, if you go into his channel and watch that thing about Back to the Future, you'll see it. So the clock tower goes off, like the power gets shut off on November 12th, 1955, with the lightning strike or whatever. But then the time on the clock is 10:04. So 10:04 is the first Monday next year of the calendar year. That's, it's not like a holiday or a weekend. So that would be when they turn the clock tower back on eventually.
Yeah.
So 10:04 is when they're going to do the Great Reset from the World Economic Forum. So, because if you look at World Economic Forum, it says they're going to address the Great Reset in January.
Yeah.
So, the Theology Ed, he breaks down like literally 20 different movies. It's almost in everything. The day the pandemic was declared, 9/11, the date that Breonna Taylor was shot, it's right in there. It's 133. So if you use European date format, they're backwards. So March is the last number. And it's in Back to the Future too. He's literally got like about 40 movies that he's broken down.
Good stuff, man.
It's in all of them.
All right, so I just pulled it up on the screen there for those that are curious, because I'm curious myself. So I definitely will touch into that. I appreciate you for keeping me up to date.
Yeah, when everyone got the coronavirus, it's when Marty McFly turns up the frequency and strokes the guitar, because it's 5G that's doing it. It ain't a virus.
Okay, so that's something. And so here's the thing: I've always been convinced after seeing more than enough evidence that. And this is from John Williams. It's from years ago. Lindsey Williams, a preacher who no longer, I don't think he's, I don't know what's up, but who, I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but prophecy. He was a pastor for the elite oil rig elite, and they, one of the things he mentioned is that they always it's like a part of their code. If they're going to plan some events for the world, they have to give it a heads up. And so that's why I think that in the movies, like, there's no way to, you can have, like, in what thing was Iron Man or whatever one where they had the Corona and they had the Corona bottle and the damn image of the Corona on the other screen. Like, so clearly that stuff is built into movies. And so it's just, make it look crazy to go looking for stuff like that. But when you see, you're like, damn, it was there all along. So
yeah, that theology guy, theology guy is like super into the Bible too.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a good channel. So like in Back to the Future too, when Marty goes to the future and he gets to meet his parents, there's a problem with the TV. So George McFly turns his head upside down and the picture starts rolling.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Twin Towers falling down, if you look at it in his perspective. If you go to when they left in the Back to the Future 1, it's the Twin Pines Mall. There's 2 pine trees there. And if you look at it upside down, the time is 9/11. When he comes back to that time period in the future, and he sees this stuff happening again, it's called the Lone Pine Mall because there's only 1 tree. Now it's the new tower that they put up because there's not 2.
Interesting, man. Hey, I appreciate you, man, for sharing that, and definitely people go check that out. Theology Ed, I've had it on the screen, so I appreciate you, man. Yeah. You stay with your ear to the ground and informed. So I appreciate you.
I'll keep watching more YouTube.
For sure, keep us posted. All right.
Okay, later, Mike. Have a good day.
Yes, sir. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. It's out there, man. All right, we'll go a couple more minutes. Let me talk about some other things here, man. I got some other stuff here. Just want to touch it briefly. And also, whatever is on your mind, feel free to give me a call. We'd love to hear. So here's something here. Warren Buffett's favorite market indicator soars to record high, signaling stocks are overvalued and a crash may be coming. So it's one of the things where it's just, mainstream hype intended to scare people to sell off so that he can get in and buy up again. Who knows? But we all know that we're living in an artificial reality because of this excess liquidity that has pumped up the world. And so it's bound to correct. And so, of course, along with this article here about what Warren Buffett believes is happening, Warren Buffett is also sitting on, I think, over 100, definitely like nine figures. He has 9 figures set aside for a rainy day because, as I mentioned this a long time ago, think about the most burnt down, torn down cities right now, which happen to be predominantly in Democratic states. All that property from the destruction, especially in California with the fires, will be purchased by those that are sitting on the most figures. And so Warren Buffett was going to buy a city. He's going to buy an entire metropolitan area in the midst of all this with those remaining Federal Reserve notes that he tried to get rid of. So mark my word, that's what Mr. Warren Buffett wants to add to his portfolio, a city, skyscrapers and all. All right, I missed a couple calls. Get at me real quick. I apologize for that. And also, got a couple more minutes before we dial back. Want to find out if we got any more bold souls out there that want to check in with me via video. We'd love to, talk to you face to face with a question or a thought, or you want to talk about anything else. You got about 2 minutes to get some airtime. So click the link right here, and you guys can tune in. I'm going to try to make this a feature for more people to check in with me and share your thoughts, my friend, directly. All right, Pizzagate demons. Oh, America has been fighting for these guys since 1913. Oh, yeah. So for those that are just tuning in late, I mentioned, as you guys can tell from the title, how the policy right here makes this decade coming up very, it's going to make it very tight for a lot of people because they're doubling up on the amount of inflation, which means that that's speeding up the erosion of purchasing power a lot faster. So saving in banks, large amounts, guarantees, you're going to lose even more. Hello, caller. Which name are you calling from?
This is Darrell. I'm in Mississippi.
Darrell from Mississippi. Give me the rundown, my friend. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think this is just the cover for the digital system that's coming.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I recently saw was one of the big things that was keeping that system from going live was stable internet. Well, Starlink and Amazon is fixing that with low orbit satellites that will broadcast internet. You can Google Starlink, which is a SpaceX initiative.
Okay.
Kind of sounds like Skynet, where they are launching low orbit satellites with internet connections. So they're going to blanket the internet, so everything will be connected.
Okay, I see
at all times.
Okay, I got an article right here.
It's been live.
Yeah, go ahead.
And it's been live since 2018. They just launched 58 more satellites in the air about a week ago.
Really?
So
okay.
this digital system that they're switching to is coming sooner than we think, because Amazon just got approved to send their satellites up. They're planning to send 3,000 up. SpaceX has been doing it since 2018. They're already in beta test mode for it.
Interesting. So right now, as you're speaking, I typed in, just SpaceX or whatever, or SpaceX or Starlink, and here's a picture here, and it says satellites like SpaceX's Starlink will, quote, fundamentally change astronomy in a bad way, and it shows the Earth surrounded with all types of, like, basically spam type satellites, just buku satellites surrounding the Earth, which of course that's not going to work out too well. So it's going to be able to be a lot of defaults, malfunctions, and satellites crashing into Earth with all the damn time. So, yeah. But
they want to everybody to have an internet connection, because that's the only way the digital platform can work. You have to be able to have the internet, a constant internet connection that can't be knocked off by a natural disaster.
Yeah.
You think about that. And so you read the article about what it's doing. They're able to get, I think, from 11 megabits per second to 60 megabits per second right now from those connections.
Yeah,
so it's something to watch, because once those things are fully live, then everything's connected. Your self-driving cars, your self-driving trucks. You just got so many things that can happen with a uninterrupted internet connection.
Right. Very true, man. Hey, that is something I have not touched much into. So the question will be, on top of that, they got all those satellites in the sky providing instant access via the satellites directly to certain vehicles, cars, houses, everything's smart. What's the 5G towers for then?
I think that's just like redundancy. In case that tower gets blasted away, you still have a connection with the satellite. So, you could be in a jungle somewhere. If you need to send some money, you'll be able to do it because you have a consistent internet connection.
Interesting. Good stuff, man.
So it's definitely stuff to look into. But I'm new to your channel, and I want to say I love your channel.
Appreciate you,
man.
I
just started stacking metals March of this year, but I'm getting to where I want to be.
Hey, sounds good, my man. Welcome to the community, and definitely looking forward to hearing your insights in the future. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, boy, that was a good one. I appreciate that. So, man, like, so that's some interesting stuff there, man. Like, okay, I mean, that's just one subject out of many that, your boy can't cover them all. So I appreciate the insights from the community. SpaceX launches 58 Starlink satellites. So imagine a orbit. The orbit is going to be cluttered with all types of vehicles in the air. And I'm thinking, like, man, like, how can I get something up in the sky? Like, come on now, anybody out there watching, in the satellite industry, you guys want to go in on a satellite or something like that? I'm sure we can do something small, and put something up in the sky. Anybody got any thoughts, ideas? Let me know. What else we got going on here? Feel free to give me a call. Phone lines are open, or if you want to connect via face-to-face. Anybody out there? Do we got one more person bold enough? We got about 189 people tuning in. Anybody out there with a thought or a question is bold enough to join me via video, feel free to do so. I just want to make sure that's an option that we can use more of, and give everybody a chance to, get on air with me, man. Let's see what we got. It says, Mike, you're like 7'16". You're already in the sky. I'm not that tall. I'm tall. I'm taller than the average. Definitely taller than the average guy. But in the sports world, I'm considered a small guy, so I'm nowhere near 7 feet. Not yet. Or I'm almost. Anyway. Yeah, but I'm shrinking. I'm getting older. Anyway, all right. So let's talk a little bit more, man. What else we got going on out here? Okay, so as a result of Federal Reserve confirming that they're going to steal from us via doubling up on inflation to meet their needs, they're saying skip my needs, skip your needs. So what that's going to do is put more of a pinch on you. So what is that going to do? Here we go. This is what it's going to lead to. Americans cut back as many await stimulus checks. And so Americans are going to cut back in general, because we're going to be forced to have to choose now. The majority, not everybody, a lot of people have not been infected or impacted whatsoever. So a lot of people are actually doing quite well right now. That's a good thing. So, but for the majority, a lot of people will be forced to choose because this economy, this country is built upon consumption. And so the fact that we have malls that are closing and all those luxuries we've enjoyed for the last 30 years due to credit is being challenged now. So people are going to be forced to decide whether or not you need necessities or your luxury items. And that's where I think people are going to have to, figure out, where those funds are going to go, whether you got enough or too much. You're going to have to figure out where to park those funds, therefore creating more of a pinch on your lifestyle, which is something that a lot of people may not be aware of. And so it says nearly 35 million households will lose their utility shut-off protections over the next month. So stories like this, just stuff to make you, count your blessings that, if you're in a position where you are doing well, just make sure you give the Lord some praise and whatnot for blessing you. And so definitely pray for our brothers and sisters out there that may not be in the best shape. And, I would love to figure out, anybody got ideas out here on how, as a community, we can be a blessing to other people. I would love to do such. And so we're gonna figure this out. What else you got going? It says it's time to squeeze blood out of the U.S. people now. Yeah, they're going to do that with no problem. We're going to do that no problem. So yeah, this decade coming up, we're going to witness the downgrade of American lifestyle. And so what's going to happen as a result of the Federal Reserve doubling up by stealing from us via inflation? They're moving the benchmark, they're moving the targets as to how they can't find to inflation, but yet all the true aspects of our lives, education, healthcare, equities market, housing prices, gas, just so many areas of our lives cost us more now than it did a year ago, and definitely cost us more now than it did pre-Great Recession. How can they not find inflation, other than the fact that they're not really looking for it? They're just trying to, sugarcoat us with those words as to why they have to do what they do. So central banking in general has failed humanity. And of course, what's his name? What's his name? Drawing a blank. Andrew Jackson, the bank slayer, who he canceled the charter of the second central bank in 1834-ish. Made it clear that central banks are basically, they steal, they drain productive work life for a lot of people. So that's what it is, man. All right, enough of me ranting. Get ready to dial back. I appreciate everybody for hanging in there with me tonight. As always, for those that are coming in late, you can watch the replay, and I'm also put the link in the description for all the articles and news sources that I touched on. And other than that, anybody want to be a blessing to the channel, feel free to become a part of the Patreon side of things, looking to, offer a more consistent, timely way for the community to gather. And so definitely appreciate any blessings and offers you guys want to give us. So if that be the case, I'm going to sign out, and I will leave you guys with this little bit of a reminder here. As always, enjoy the rest of your night. Stay prayed up, be safe, and I will see you guys on the flip side. Peace. Hey there, sorry for this interruption, but I wanted to bring something to your attention. If you've been enjoying this live stream, why don't you partner with me and be a support to the channel via Patreon membership for just a minimum of $5 a month. All you have to do is scroll down beneath this video here, click the Patreon link, then consider donating as little as $5 a month toward the channel. A little bit of crumbs can go a long way, and I appreciate your support. Now, let's get back to this live stream.